From a merger that could make a French spirit giant the most powerful drinks company in the world, to a World Stuffed Cabbage Championship held in porcelain factory in Limoges. April has been quite a month in French food. This is Fabulously Delicious, the French Food Podcast, and I'm your host, Andrew Pryor, and this is your French food news for April 2026. Right, let's get into it, shall we? One of the biggest stories in the French drinks world this month, Pernod Ricard, one of the great names of French spirits, and the company behind Ricard, Martell, Jameson and Absolut has confirmed it is in merger talks with Brown-Forman, the American company that owns Jack Daniel's and Woodford Reserve. The talks are being described as a merger of equals, and if completed, would create the largest spirits company in the world. Ricard itself, that aniseed-flavoured aperitif, is evocative of the south of France. Roland-Garros is already one of the great sporting events in the French calendar. But this year, it has a rather delicious new addition. A brand new area called Le Jardin de Chef has been created right next to the Simone Mathieu Court, where internationally renowned chefs and pastry chefs, some of whom hold Michelin stars, will take turns offering the public their signature dishes and exclusive recipes throughout the tournament. Running from the 24th of May until the 5th of June, every day at lunchtime, 2 chefs will prepare 2 dishes each, while a third chef will create a dessert. And in the evenings, the Jardin de Chefs transforms into a bodega-style restaurant, serving sharing platters, which sounds like a fabulous way to spend an afternoon between matches. The chef lineup is generally impressive. Claire Hetzler, Pascal Barbeau, Pierre Sangboya, and Christophe Adam among them. A roll call of some of the most exciting names in contemporary French gastronomy. And there's one particular detail that I love. Throughout the day, visitors can enjoy something called the Balle de Break, a chocolate-filled sweet treat in the shape of a tennis ball. 12 tons of Kit Kat bars, 413,793 individual chocolate bars, to be precise, were stolen whilst in transit between a factory in central Italy and their destination in Poland. Now, I know this isn't strictly a French food story, but it's frankly too good to leave out. A Kit Kat spokesman noted that the company had always encouraged people to have a break with Kit Kats, but that it seemed the thieves had taken the message, well, too literally, and made a break with more than 12 tons of their chocolate. The truck and its contents remain missing. The investigation is ongoing. And Kit Kat launched a stolen Kit Kat tracker on its website, allowing anybody to check the batch code on their chocolate bars to see if it is one of the 413,793 that went missing, which is either the most elaborate PR stunt in confectionery history or a generally criminal operation of remarkable ambition. Kit Kat confirmed on Instagram that it's not an April Fool's joke. Someone really did steal 12 tons of Kit Kats, and they really do want to know where they've gone. One for the food business owners listening, and there are a few of you out there, I'm sure. The French government has backed down on plans to allow certain food businesses to open on the 1st of May, which is Labor Day. After significant pushback from unions and left-wing groups, the bill had sought to widen May 1st working eligibility to include local food retailers such as butchers, bakeries and greengrocers, alongside certain other businesses. But following a tense meeting with union leaders, the Labour Minister stated clearly that the 1st of May is not just any day, and that the government would not be pushing the legislation forward for now. Well, this is France, and so the reaction was predictable and entirely French. Unions celebrating a victory for workers' rights, right-wing politicians accusing the government of copulation, and former Prime Minister Gabriel Attal specifically noting that the decision penalises artisan bakers and florists. The government has indicated it may revisit the question ahead for the 2027 election. But for this year at least, your local boulangerie will be closed on the 1st of May, which if you are in France is useful information to have because, well, if you can't find yourself a croissant on a Friday morning, that can be a problem. April the 4th was National Cordon Bleu Day, which felt like a good moment to ask a question that most people have never thought to ask, I think. Is cordon bleu actually French? The name certainly sounds it. Cordon bleu translates as blue ribbon, a term that, according to Le Roux gastronomy, originally referred to the wide blue ribbon worn by members of the highest order of French knighthood, the Ordre de Chevaliers de Saint-Exupéry, instituted by Henry III of France in 1578. Over time, the term came to mean cooking of the highest standard. But the dish itself, that famous breaded chicken or veal breast wrapped around ham and cheese, is almost certainly not French. The most widely accepted theory is that a female cook from the Valais region of Switzerland created the recipe out of necessity to serve a large number of guests in one shift. There's also a competing story involving a Swiss cook on an ocean liner in 1933. And another tracing it to a French cooking competition in 1930. What's clear, though, is that the dish first appeared in a cookbook in 1949, and the earliest reference to veal cordon bleu in print is in the Los Angeles Times in 1958. So, French name, Swiss origins, first documented in the US, which is a very international story for something most people assume is completely French. Right, a quick pause from the news. Speaking of all things French and delicious, if a trip to Paris is on your horizon this year, or you simply want to dream about one from your kitchen table, I want to tell you about my book, Paris, a fabulous food guide to the world's most delicious city. It's just newly been updated, and the new edition is the one that I'm most proud of. Over 100 additional pages on the history of food in Paris, because understanding why the city eats the way it does is just as important as knowing where to go, which if you've been listening to this episode of podcast, you'll know is exactly the kind of thing that I love. All my favourite boulangeries, patisseries, fromageries, wine bars, markets and hidden gems are in there. Plus, there's new sections for vegan and vegetarian dining, beautiful food with a view spots, and a dedicated section on Emily in Paris locations. So yes, you can absolutely go and sit where Emily sat. No judgment from me whatsoever. I love Emily in Paris. You can order directly from my website at andrewpryorfabulously.com. It's also on Amazon, or ask your local independent bookshop to order it in. Supporting local bookshops is always a fabulous idea. Now, back to the news. Le Cordon Bleu London, that's the cooking school and not the chicken or veal dish, has launched a new patisserie scholarship competition worth more than £75,000, designed to identify and support the next generation of pastry chef talent through professional training, mentorship and hands-on industry experience. And as somebody who trained at Paris Le Cordon Bleu, I have a particular soft spot for anything that opens those doors to a wider audience. The overall winner will receive a 12-month prize package, including a place on Le Cordon Bleu's London Diploma de Patisserie, a 3-month internship at Cord Restaurant, accommodation in London, and mentorship opportunities with Michelle Roux and Chris Galvin, with Emily Roux joining the judging panel. Applications are now open and close on the 29th of May in 2026. With the final taking place in September and the winner beginning their studies in January 2027. A Le Monde article published recently caught my attention, and I think it will resonate with a lot of people in the food world. The headline translates roughly as, "Honestly, I am exhausted by managing." And it explores why young French culinary professionals under 30 are increasingly reluctant to take on chef or management roles in restaurant kitchens. The article quotes young cooks describing the weight of responsibility, the emotional labour of managing a team, and a feeling that the traditional path, working your way up to take command and run the brigade, no longer feels the right ambition to have. One quote that stayed with me was a young cook describing how checking a colleague's work felt like insulting their intelligence, which is very different to the relationship with authority and hierarchy to the one that shaped the kitchens of the Carême and the Escoffier era. It feels like a significant cultural shift for a country where the chefs have always been an almost mythological figure. The absolute authority in the kitchen, unquestioned and unchallengeable, the brigade system that Escoffier codified and that French gastronomy has built its reputation on, was entirely dependent on a clear chain of command that younger generations are now quietly but firmly pushing back on. After years of high-profile conversations about kitchen culture, the hours, the pressure and the toxicity that has existed in professional kitchens for generations, it seems that young French chefs are making a very deliberate choice. They want to cook, they don't necessarily want to manage, control, or even command a kitchen, which raises a fascinating question about where the next generation of great French chefs will come from and what they will look like when they arrive. The Roux Scholarship is one of the most prestigious culinary competitions in the UK, and the French connection is absolutely central to its DNA. Founded by Michel and Albert Roux in 1984, the scholarship was conceived specifically as a way for young British chefs to gain experience in French restaurants, which at the time were not open to employing British chefs. Over 40 years later, it remains the gold standard of culinary competition in Britain, with past winners including Zach Baines, Marc Burchard, and Andrew Fairley, going on to shape the finest kitchens in the country. The 2026 winner is Harrison Brockington, a 28-year-old chef from Devon, who beat 5 finalists in a highly challenging final cook-off held at the Alan Roux Culinary School at the Waterside Inn in Bray on the 13th of April. Brockington is the head chef and owner of Gather Restaurant in Tonts, where he specialises in cooking with foraged ingredients and local produce. And true to his ethos, he foraged in the restaurant's garden on the very morning of the competition. The 6 finalists were tasked with creating a Mediterranean-inspired surf and turf, using 2 whole Dover sole, 2 whole cuttlefish, pork sausage meat, mushrooms, asparagus, and at least 1 citrus fruit. When his name was announced, Brockington was described as gobsmacked, and Michel Roux Jr.'s words to him in that moment were simply, believe in yourself and your food, because today you are a Roux scholar. And finally, because every episode of French Food News should end with something that makes you smile, there is a World Stuffed Cabbage competition. Yes, that's correct. A cabbage championship. A genuinely international, fiercely contested culinary competition dedicated entirely to choux farci. Founded by the Stuffed Cabbage Association and a prestigious French porcelain company, the competition has been running since 2014, with regional heats held across 7 global culinary hubs, including France, the Americas, Japan, Europe, Asia-Pacific, China, and Korea. Before finalists gather in Limoges, not too far from my house, for the world final, where the trophy is a gorgeous porcelain cabbage. And the winner was Frenchman Olivier Callion, a charcutier at Arnold Nicolas in the 7th arrondissement on Paris. The competition was described as embodying culinary excellence, noting that in the hands of these chefs, the humble and generous dish becomes a veritable work of art. And that's your French food news for April 2026. And what a month it's been. from a potential merger that could reshape the global spirits industry to a world championship dedicated entirely to stuffed cabbage. French food never disappoints. If you enjoyed this episode, the best thing that you can do is leave a review and a rating on whatever platform it is that you're listening right now. It takes just 30 seconds and it makes an enormous difference to how many people find the show. So merci beaucoup to all of those that have left ratings, and will do in the future. You can also find me on Instagram at Andrew Pryor Fabulously for French food history, fun facts, and behind the scenes life in rural France. If you'd rather watch than listen, there's full video episodes of Fabulously Delicious on YouTube. And I have a Substack, free to subscribe or paid if you'd like to support the show and get a little more of everything. The link is in the show notes for this episode, or you can visit andrewpryorfabulously.com. Come for the croissants today because, well, you're fabulous. Until next time, eat well, stay curious, and whatever you do it fabulously. Merci beaucoup et bon app et à très bientôt.